I am.
And I am a young
Black.
A young black.
Young.
Black.
A young black.
Black.
Black equestrian.
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 Black equestrian.
Equestrian.
Black equestrian.
Equestrian.
Black equestrian.
I'm a young black equestrian.
I am a young black equestrian.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Young Black Equestrians with your hosts, Brianna Johnson
And Caitlin Gooch.
Today is another solo episode and pretty much life updates and, things that we have brewing in the YBE kitchen. So I'm excited to just chat it out today because I know a lot of people said that they kind of miss our just back and forth conversations. Y'all can see how our mind works. Sorry. I feel like this lamp is like it smells like I smell something.
Like it's burning.
So I might turn it off in a second, but I can see it. So if something happens, here we are.
Oh my
Anywho. Yeah, well, let's get into it. I guess
I can't believe it's almost April.
it is almost
I feel like we were stuck in January for a long time.
A long time. So much happened in January. It was like,
oh my god,
between politics and just people, it's like, oh my god, it was the longest month ever. Then February was like, here's and then March was just like, woo, that's over. Okay, now we're gonna go to April. Like, daggone.
April is next week.
Next freaking week. But I'm excited because I love this time of year. Like, I love spring. I like fall better just because like vibes, but spring is just a rejuvenating time of year.
Yes, fresh starts.
that for sure. So speaking of fresh starts, my fresh start is moving in with my grandfather who has dementia. He is able to move around now and is like still like doing stuff and getting dressed and all this stuff, but he just doesn't remember stuff. Mm-hmm. So I felt like it was a good time, instead of being retroactive, kind of being proactive to make sure everything is being done on a daily basis and, not trying to come in and put out fires once everything is on fire. So,
right.
Literally, like, we took the eyes off the stove because ain't nobody trying to put out fires.
Gotta take precautions.
Yeah. So that's been a big adjustment. My horses this is gonna be the first time that I have not lived with my horses in 6 years. Mm-hmm. Encore will be with me, but the big ones will not. So that's gonna be an adjustment, but it'll all work out. They'll be back at my parents', so it's not like I will have to pay board or struggle to see them or anything like that. So
the mailman, I'm guessing, has rung the doorbell, so my dogs are like, no.
Why does the mailman ring the doorbell? Do you not have a mailbox?
Oops, we do. Mailman, UPS, Amazon, somebody, but I don't remember ordering anything. Oh my goodness. I need a sign that just says, do not ring the doorbell.
Right. Get one of those mats. Those mats that say something like dogs will bark. Just leave this.
Somebody out there makes those. Maybe you want to please send it.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, please make a doormat. That's what they're called. Doormat.
But yes, adjusting to that move and living with someone who has dementia is definitely a large adjustment.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's gonna be fun though. We rocking it out. We, you know, we're he's adjusting too, I would think. Um
Yeah.
he sees the dogs and he's like, who is that? One day he told me not to go back there because the big dogs might bite me. I was like, it's okay. They're mine. It's fine.
Oh my goodness.
But he was trying to push Tigger away like this.
Mhm.
And Tigger's like, rub my head, rub my head, rub my head. I was like, just ignore him. Put your hands away.
You're only enticing him.
Yeah, this is not what you're trying to do. This is not how that works. So it's
Oh.
adjusting, but I mean, he just forgets. It's like, oh, there's your dogs. Whose dogs are those back there? Those your dogs? They're my dogs. So it is teaching me patience and go with the flow, and like every day is a new day.
Yeah.
Because it literally every day is a new day. So it's kind of a revelation, as far as how I take every day, not carrying things over and getting myself all stressed out over something that happened previously, when it's like every day is a new day. Like, ask the same question, you can get a completely different response because it's a new day, and it's fine. It's fine.
With or without glitter, the responses.
I'm gonna say this. So it's public record outside of Facebook. Okay, if you have a logo and someone is designing a logo for you, it should not have glitter. You can fight me, and it's fine. You will not change my mind. I don't care if you do that, but just know I will be judging you if your logo has glitter in it, because it looks cheap. Glitter is cheap. I ain't never heard of no expensive glitter.
This is true. This is true.
Anyway.
Can't argue with that. You posted a picture of your grandfather out in the garden.
Yeah.
That was so precious.
He came back. So I was walking the dogs and I was like, all right, I've been gone for like 20 minutes, so he's probably not going to remember that I was there. So let me just not go back inside and just go out in the garden and do some stuff so he don't come out there and bother me. But then the neighbor came by and called and was like, where are you? I was like, I'm in the garden. I'm in the backyard. He was like, all right, we're coming out there. Like, okay. And then I was out there and I had done a lot of it. I was just throwing away like the leaves and the pine straw because there's a giant pine tree in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So it like spits pine straw everywhere. And so I had cleaned. Well, that was something I was going to tell you. Like the areas where the pine needles were covering had less weeds because duh, that's what people use it for. Mm-hmm. But where it, like farther away from the tree, there were more weeds. So I kind of was just like, oh, like once I pulled the pine straw up, the dirt, like it looked good. There were worms, like it was happy dirt. So I was like, okay.
You have to ask him if he did that on purpose.
No. he hasn't been out there in about 2 or 3 years, but I was able to get everything, and then he was like, this is pretty smart. You smart. I was like, or no, he said, you've been smart lately. And I was like, dang, what did I say? So I was like, what you mean I've been smart lately? So you've been smart to start working on a day like this. Oh, okay. Because I'm like, dang, what I say? Sometimes I be saying stuff, but I was like, I don't remember. But yeah, so he took the doggone wheelbarrow out to the street. Okay, fancy. But then today he said his neck hurt, so
no,
we won't be doing that very often.
Maybe like in 15-minute intervals once
every
other month. Oh, what do you plan on growing? Or has he even mentioned something?
I've been talking about it, but he said tomatoes, cucumbers, or I asked him what he normally grows. He said tomatoes, cucumbers, and he's really big into flowers. So there's like rose bushes, and he usually would get flowers to put in the front beds like every year. So I must try to get some of those. But outside of that, I love growing peppers, and I'm gonna try to grow those loofahs since I'm like I got a smaller area. See if the loofahs grow. Sunflowers. I want
Yes.
to do sunflowers on the border of the yard. And I don't know. I'm gonna find something. Find something else.
All these seeds. I
All
love
these
gardening.
seeds. What do you? Oh, didn't you grow radishes last year?
Yes.
I want to try that this year because
Yes.
they're spicy, and
Yes.
I get beets and radishes mixed up, and I don't like beets.
No, beets are a lot bigger, and I don't think you eat beets raw. Maybe pickled, but not raw.
Okay.
Them radishes from last year were so good. Like I couldn't even like put them in my recipe. I was just eating them.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try. I got some radish seeds, so that's what I'm growing. What are you gonna grow? Because I see you got
Tomatoes, of
your
course.
foliage
Yeah.
behind you.
House plants.
Yes.
Tomatoes, of course. Lettuce. Why am I starting lettuce? I think. Well, I'm going to keep the lettuce inside. Basil. 'Cause
Oh, how
that
did I forget about
pasta.
that?
Oh, yes,
Girl.
basil. I've been eating that pasta, basil, feta cheese, tomatoes. I'm growing the ingredients for that. Everything but the cheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, what else? I am attempting a pumpkin again. I thought I planted pumpkin seeds last year, and it wasn't. It was butternut squash. So I grew an entire butternut squash. I wanted a pumpkin.
That
um,
squash is good though.
and I'm gonna try watermelon and cantaloupe and
Mhm.
see how that works in my backyard. I don't know, but I would like to have that. My grandfather used to have a watermelon garden, and that watermelon was so good.
Mhm. Mhm. I 2 places ago where I lived, I did a watermelon and or one or two of them, and I guess I didn't realize that it was a vine.
Mm.
And that doggone watermelon probably spanned because it was inside of like one of the secondary pastures. It probably went out about 15 feet. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
goodness.
God dang, I did not know. Like every time I go to cut the grass, I would have to like pick up the vine, pick up the little watermelons that were on it, move it, cut the grass, put it back. And I just didn't even think about it. But I would I need to write this down. I want to try strawberries.
hmm
That would be cool.
I'm confused on strawberries because there are strawberry plants out now, but when people do strawberry picking, it's normally like already happened.
Um, well, I know the place by where I used to live, she said that they would be open April 10th for strawberry picking.
What is the strawberry growing season though?
I don't know. I guess they plant them early, and because I know the same that place, they'll let you pick, and then they'll say, all right, no more, like the strawberries need to ripen. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll stop it for a week or a few days, and then they'll say, okay, there more strawberries are ready, y'all can come back.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if I mean, I doubt they grow them from seeds outside, but maybe they just, get plants
Mm-hmm.
from a nursery that have already grown something and then put them in the ground and let them grow the rest of the way.
I have no idea.
But I don't know. I don't.
But strawberries would be nice. Definitely.
I think it's got to be a spring kind of kind of fruit, because even when you get strawberries at the grocery store in like November, like they taste like paper. It's gross. So but then there's, what are the strawberries that like you can grow them upside down? Like they're hanging strawberries?
I've
And
seen people do that with tomatoes.
oh yeah.
I'm gonna try that because I was like, that looks interesting. But I haven't seen it with strawberries.
The way my tomatoes be growing, it
It was like a whole bush just
yeah.
bottom.
Yeah. That's wild. I planted, oh, I need to go water them outside. Planted dill and parsley. I got the little things from the dollar store that like is like cloth that you put in the pot and you just
Oh,
water it. Got those too. So
did you do parsley last year?
I did oregano, lemon thyme, lavender, and that's it.
Okay, my parsley plant is still producing from last year. That's the only thing that is still producing.
My thyme plant, it died, and I was about to throw it away. Oh, it's in those little the 3 thing, like little jack looking thing. But then I looked at it and I was like, "Is that green?" Like it came back.
Wow.
All I got to do is cut off the brown parts, but it comes back, and I had no idea. It's out there in the same thing as the oregano, and the oregano never died. It's just sitting there like chilling. And I was like, cool, that's great, thanks. But yeah, that time is coming back, so I was thankful. The lavender came back too. I thought it was dead. Oh, and blueberries. Don't you have a blueberry bush?
Oh yeah, I do. I talked to you today, and I have a rose bush and mint and lemon balm.
Yeah,
and a bunch
maybe
of flowers.
that's what it is. Oh, that's what it is. It's lemon balm. It's not lemon thyme.
Lemon balm.
Yeah, it's lemon balm. It's not thyme. Maybe the thyme is what died. Something died. Yeah, I have 3 blueberry bushes I gotta get moved here. But they already have growth on them.
That's dope.
So that's exciting. But yeah, if you are not attempting to grow something, I want you to open your mind to it.
Yes.
Talking to the YBE fam out there, because when we talk about, having land and self-sufficiency and whether you're going to put horses on it or not, I'm not saying everybody has to be a farmer. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, we're in a whole pandemic right now, and food scarcity is a very serious thing. There are food deserts out here, and there are places where they don't have access to fresh produce, and they get all this crappy food, and that leads to health problems, and there's disparities in the healthcare system. I mean, it's a whole cycle. Everything is so related. So if you could take one step by learning how to grow a vegetable, that, yeah, you need to do it. Like, easy ones are tomatoes and cucumbers and peppers. Like those
are definitely easy.
And Caitlin is growing stuff in pots.
Yes,
containers. Yeah, you don't need a plot of land to do something like this. And for kids especially, it's just so important to teach them how to do something like that. So not only they are comfortable with it, but they value it. People are like, oh my gosh, don't nobody like a farmer. People don't want to be a farmer. Well, that's because y'all ain't even taught your kids how to farm outside of old McDonald, who had a farm and apparently ain't got it no more.
Yep. I was thinking about that. I was like, if there is a culture, and people can assume which one I'm talking about, that raises their children to become doctors, if they can do that, we can raise our children to be anything.
Yeah.
Like, it is crazy how many doctors come from certain countries and they come here to be doctors.
Yeah.
Because their whole life they were told, you are going to be a doctor. You have no other choice.
Doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Yes.
That's what I listened to a podcast hosted by a Nigerian host, and she says that all the time. She's like, no, you don't have a choice. You be doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Yep. See, you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. But yeah, if it starts with one vegetable plant, that's the way to go. That is the way to go. So I hope people share with us their gardening.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Send us pictures, send us videos.
I know we are YBE, but you can't. We are multifaceted. We are
and even at Aubriana's old job, she started a garden
I know,
at the facility.
yeah. I wonder if and like in the middle of a pandemic, I was like, okay, we got people out here that talking about they can't afford food, and if you're not gonna pay them more, maybe we can start growing food. It's like there's a place for everything. You can make these things happen anywhere.
Yep.
So back in equestrian land, we got to nerd out on gardens a little bit. But back in equestrian land, we have, y'all know we be observing.
All the
time. And we use this platform to have conversations about our observations. And one of the most recent observations that we just wanted to talk about. And it's the now that we have gotten past the is there racism, it's, are you racist? And what can you do? Now we're getting into the fruit, this is what we are producing. This is what we had come up with to battle this problem that we discovered that we had, or that y'all had, whatever. So now people are producing programs primarily for people of color. We not gonna say that acronym on here because daggone it, I hate it. I don't know that there's an acronym that I like outside of YBE, but BIPOC and BAME, like they can go in the trash.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones that think that. So
we're not. It's not a novel idea by any means, but there's programs coming out, and we want to know. So if you're listening to this, we want to hear your feedback as well. How do you feel about these programs like Black Horse Camp or BIPOC Horse Camp, BIPOC Equestrian event, or just ones that are like named, have that sort of naming convention? And I don't know. How y'all feel about that? Caitlin, how do you feel about that?
Well, I don't like it. Just because that you're targeting a certain group doesn't mean you can't think of a title for it. Something creative, like just name it an event like you would any other event, and then in the description put the qualifications. It's no different from scholarships. Like scholarships have all these fancy names, or they're named after somebody, and if you look, it'll let you know you have to be this, this, and this. Like, just do that. Make it fun.
Yeah. Like, where are you going this summer? Oh, I'm going to BIPOC Horse Camp.
No. And that's like, yes, it is definitely a step. Great, do that.
Yeah.
Just take it a bit further and just do something that's normal, because this should be normal. And that's the point of us having these conversations, to make things normalized and not like just put a label on it. You know?
Yeah. And I was trying to think, like when we first started talking about this, I was like, okay, I don't want to be hypocritical because we got black in lots of stuff. So I'm just like, I want to, think about this, but also look at the things that we're doing and, not be a hypocrite about it. But I feel what you're saying. Like, I feel like there might be a difference between, being or identifying that way and saying this is for us
Mm-hmm.
versus not identifying that way and saying we're doing something for y'all.
Right.
I feel like that. I feel like there might be a difference there.
Yes.
So I
We
definitely
can have young
welcome.
black equestrians, but if somebody who wasn't black had a young black equestrians, I don't know how I would
Right.
feel.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. That's a great way to put it. And I think, with the Black Equestrian Network and YBE and things like that, like Saddle Up and Read. Like Saddle Up and Read does not say black saddle ups and reads, but minority saddle up and read. Like it's not that, but the problem that you're solving is identified in majority people of color, students of color, kids of color. So that's where the target is. So that's a good example of how you can name something fun, like I'm going to Saddle Up and Read camp. And you happen to go and there's only people of color there.
Yes. And it's
normal. Like it's not like and you kind of have to think about how do kids feel about that. I wonder if that's ever like considered. Like I went to my mom worked in Durham growing up. And so she found camps that were like on her way to work. And I'm from Chapel Hill. So I did not grow up around a whole bunch of Black people in school outside of like my family. And so my mama put me in summer camp in Durham. And that's when I started listening to rap. That's when I started learning how to twerk. We was dancing to Sammy. I like it. Like, but the place was called Sisterhood Agenda. It wasn't like we're in Durham. Yeah, Black Sisterhood Agenda. No, it was just like this is the community that we cater to. And that was like the first thing I thought of when I was like, okay, like I never felt like I'm going to this place because I'm Black and because these people out here feel bad for me. I went to like these like crafting camps in downtown Durham, like in those like buildings where you can see the ductwork and stuff. Like now that's chic now. And you see all the brick wall exposed and stuff. It was run by people that were not Black or not minorities, but I couldn't even tell you if it was catered to minorities or not. There was such a diverse group of kids there. It just felt like a camp. And so maybe it was catered to, people who wouldn't necessarily have those opportunities, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I was just able to enjoy the camp for what it was and not have that like in the back of my mind, like, oh, this camp is here for the Black kids,
Yeah. And I would have to think that would be awkward because you know how like when somebody has like a lesson program or anything like that where they're watching other kids and they refer to them as a group, like for example, if I had a program that was targeting Hispanic children, would I call them my Hispanic riders?
Right.
I'm not Hispanic. Why would I say that? Like, no, these are the kids that are in my program. Instead of saying like we can say like our YBE family. But if somebody wasn't white, they're like my YBEs. It just sounds weird, and I don't know if, like you said, if children think about that kind of thing, because I wouldn't want somebody who wasn't Black or in general to just call me Black rider in blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm just, let's not make it weird. Because I'm weird.
Basically, let's do something for our community or target a specific community without making it weird.
Yeah, without making it weird.
And I feel like one of the programs that does this very well, which I am a part of, is Yes Equestrian, Optimum Youth Equestrian Scholarship, and they don't only award scholarships to people of color. It's kind of like the disenfranchised, no matter what it is, whether it be you have a physical disability, mental disability, person of color, like it doesn't matter. Anyone can apply. You just have to show that you're interested, and you can literally apply from 17 to 27. Yeah. So I'm like, there's a lot of our YBE fam that could get $600 from this scholarship program, and that can go to something. And the application is really not even that long. So
some of y'all better peep that.
And I'm a mentor for it. So if you feel like you need a special mentoring outside of this podcast, go ahead. But there's a lot of very accomplished mentors as well. So you can get mentored by, I think, more than one I know more than one person, but people who compete in dressage and jumping and all this stuff, and polo. So if you want a mentor, even if you don't win the scholarship, you can get a mentor. So if you feel weird about asking for that kind of help, that's one way you can do it. And you literally, 27 is the cutoff. So
like you said, that is diverse.
It
doesn't say that in the title necessarily.
Right.
They just promote that and target that audience.
Right. Another program, Sufa Ranch.
Yeah.
They're in Atlanta. They, or they're not in Atlanta, they're in Fairburn, but they cater to communities of color, but it's not in
there. Know that by hearing Sufa.
No, it's not.
It could be anything.
So I feel like that kind of leads into what it is that I am like envisioning. I feel like I'll be talking about the same thing over and over, but this year, like having higher standards for the interactions that we have, because we did a lot last year. We did a lot, and we spoke a lot of places and interacted with so many people, and it was so good. I think that the next step, people are always asking what the next step is, and how they can be involved and how they can do the work. And I think the next step for us as women of color is to communicate the fact that we do have a standard now. Like, all right, you said that you wanted to do the work. You spent the last however months, learning, figuring out where it is that you fall short when it comes to representation and inclusion. Now you need help moving on. What have you done?
Right.
Because on the other part of that is like expecting people of color to do the work for you, to give you the answers. That's just not how it's supposed to work. If it was any other project. That's weird. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me now? Hold on. Because now I can't hear you. My sound. Say something. Ugh.
Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, my mic just went out.
Oh, Mike, don't be doing that.
I know. Okay, whatever. Okay. I don't even remember what I was saying, but I feel like it was along the lines of people of color having to do the work,
Mm-hmm.
and asking them to do this extra work to help you when
Right.
there hasn't been really much of an effort on your part to do the work. So,
Don't do that.
yeah, don't do that. Like the the interaction, the communications that I'm entertaining at this point is, this is what we have done and we want to make sure that this is going to be a success. Can you help with that? And now I'm like, yes. Not, we have an idea. So
Mm-hmm.
we want to know if you would like to be a part of it, or we want
You
to
would like
know
to
if
know
you'd
if you
like to
would
be included. Huh?
create it.
Right. That basically tells me I want you to help create this thing. I want you to do this extra work. And I am fine like with volunteering. I volunteer a lot. But we do a lot.
Right.
Like we do a lot. And it wasn't until I started receiving those requests from people that were not people of color, and it came with that, like, this is what we've done. This is what we want you to be a part of. Yes or no? I realized that, oh, this is something that's normal. Like, this is how you approach people. You're not going to go to your boss and say, I have, not saying that I'm your boss, but someone who you want to, get a response from. I
Mm-hmm.
have this idea and I want you to help build it,
Right.
or I want you to build it with me.
Right.
We
Because
would
when they're
love,
gonna take the time out their day to do that.
yeah, we would love to discuss this gigantic project with you and get all of the intellectual property that you can provide for free.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's part of the work, is paying people of color for the work that they are doing.
So
And
don't
that's,
just use that as an excuse. Like,
yeah,
still do the work, please.
yeah,
That just says
yeah.
if you care and then you have a genuine part in it, instead of being like, oh, okay, like, yes, hire people of color, hire us,
Hmm.
hire black folk, put them on your board, do those things. But if you don't have the means to do that, or if you have an idea of something that you want to do, it needs to go further than just being an idea that you got at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
And you just send an email to, or a Facebook post to figure out who around here wants to help. No.
yeah. And when it comes to hiring people of color, a lot of times I have found that people will hire a person of color into a dumpster fire, and then that person of color will feel like they are not good enough because they weren't given the resources to be successful in the first place, because they're like, oh my gosh, people of color are so creative, they're so smart, they can do these things. Here's a fire for you, put it out. And it's like, nah, like, I shouldn't have to put out your fires if, like, it's not charity work. Like, I want you to just choose me because you think it's a good idea, but I also am not trying to come in putting out your fires and then feeling like I'm less valuable as a employee because I didn't fix the problems that you were having way before me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it sounds like that was personal.
I know.
But that makes a lot of sense because, yeah, why would you just wait that long? But also, why are you hiring people who can't do the jobs that they're supposed to be doing in the first place?
Yeah. Or that they you just don't have it together for
Mhm.
them to do the job. Like, I
Yeah.
just, yeah,
Oops.
that is definitely something that I just have noticed. But
And
yeah, it wasn't until people came to me like with, this is A, B, and C that we have already done. Do you want to be part of D? And I'm like, heck yeah. Oh yeah, scholarship. They're like, boom, we put the scholarship together. We got a board. This is our mission and values. You want to look over it?
Mhm.
Yes, sure. Okay. Do you want to be a part of it? Heck yeah. Okay. And then we work together, multiple times. It's like, it seems like it's a hard concept, but it ain't.
No, not at all.
It's like just asking for things to be normal, really.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be hard. Like I guess for some people, it's not their normal practice. It's not something they do every day. But as we said in the beginning, adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make adjustments.
And I want to say something specifically to people of color who are wanting to start something. That's not saying that you won't be successful until you or that you have to come with a complete product before we're gonna listen. That's not what I'm saying. But when you ask for help from anybody, you really need to have you need to do your due diligence. You need to show that you have done the research. You think you might have resources here or there. You need to get in contact with somebody. Like, what is it that you need? Like, at this point, it's so hard to figure out what people need, because if I spend half my time trying to figure out what you need, what if it's something that I can't provide, and then I wasted both of our times? So it's kind of like, do that ahead of time. Like, figure out what it is you need. Tell me what you need, and I'll tell you if I can help you or not. Or if I can't, I probably know somebody who can. But you got to know what you need. If you need help with starting a nonprofit, I'm like, you know what? You probably should talk to Caitlin. That ain't my ministry. If you need help with some graphics or website or something, okay, yeah, I'll look at it. You want feedback? Boom. Yeah, I'll give it to you. That's fine. You can implement the changes on your own, but you need to know what you need.
Right.
So
I hope all that makes sense to everybody that's listening.
yeah. So to recap, if you need something from us, please be specific. If you're gonna send us an email, be specific and tell us what you need. It's so hard to just hop on calls. We struggle to do these episodes. Not struggle, but we have to be very intentional about doing these episodes.
Yes. Today is Thursday. We're supposed to be doing the solo ones on Monday.
I know, but it's just so much happens. And, with me moving and stuff like that, I have not even been posting on social media, and I got stuff to do for the next 2 weeks. That's why I stopped. I was like, okay, I'm getting entirely too much feedback and requests. Let me just stop, because I'm moving and I can't keep up. But you just got to be specific. The whole let's chat.
No, I don't want to chat.
No, I don't want to chat.
I think that triggers me at this point, because it's like, one, receiving so many emails, messages, just all together, through everything. And I'm pretty sure this happens with you too. But two, somebody sends an initial email and it's like, hello. And it's like, no, send me everything in one the first time.
Right.
Please.
Right.
Send me your scheduler if you have one, so we can be like, oh, this is what you want to do. Okay, we can click a button and now we don't have to have no more emails.
Yes. And I think it's just talking about it now and seeing the growth that we've had in the last 6 months is just wild. It's wild. And so I feel like people just need to know, this is a season for us. Yes, we were accepting anything that came to us last year. We were, but then we realized that we were maxed out and we had to change that. So it is a new season for us. So these are the requirements and the boundaries that we had to set, so that we are intentional with our time and our work. And we're working with people that are actually committed to making an impact. Yeah. So
I think we had last scheduled season was 4 days open a week or something like that.
Yeah.
It was bananas.
It was bananas. And then we have one day.
Yeah. So Like, this is not even to sound ungrateful or anything. It's just that,
No.
whoo, we are past a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff. And it is
Yeah.
no reason for us to go back.
Right. And I think about, since I've, been really like entrepreneurship and business minded over the last 6 months, it's like, okay, what CEO can you just do that with? None.
Because if that was possible, we would be talking to all the celebrities that we wanted to talk to.
Right. Like, hey, Elon, let's chat. Hey,
Yeah.
Bill Gates, let's chat.
Oprah, hop on this call.
Right. I
Be
mean,
my
you might
chat.
be able to do that, but me, no.
Dude.
So it's just like, ugh, yeah, I just want to put that out there because I don't want people to be in their feelings, but I just need you to come with something, and like I said before, like for like different interviews and stuff, if it's not a new idea, a new angle, a new story you want us to tell, then I mean, listen to an episode. Daggone.
I would love to see that if somebody listened to an episode or like chose their favorite one and then talked about it on their podcast, like without us, just talk about it and say what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't on a podcast, but like I said before, horse rookie
Mm-hmm.
did the daggone thing. And even Rein in Your Herd,
Mm-hmm.
Laura reached out and was like, I know you are slammed, but we want to highlight a person of color on our podcast. Is there an episode that you think would fit with our podcast? And I sent her an episode that we had already done.
Yep. Bam.
Bam. Easy. And we went on her podcast after that and talked about how it was operating our podcast and all the things that were going on. Like, we talked about operations. Like, we can talk about stuff that's not just diversity.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's crazy. I know.
We have
It's wild.
We have lives just like y'all.
Yeah. So that's just, yeah.
If they can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Set those boundaries. And I want people to come for us for help. Like, I really do. Or just to listen. Like, if you just need to vent, like, just send us a send us a message on Instagram or something, and I can voice text like quickly and say, yes, yeah, girl, you fine. Or join the group. If you're a person of color and you ride horses, or if you're a Black person and you ride horses, join the YBE group. There's a community there. People can give feedback. That's my dog.
Oh, baby.
But there's a whole community there, and that's really just what we want to foster and like focus on now, because now that we have identified each other over the last year, let's talk about something.
We have 248 members now. Like, I love that group.
Wild. And so, speaking of that, what we got in the YBE kitchen? We want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to throw out like an overarching wireframe of outline of what I'm thinking. And I want to hear people's feedback as we start this planning process. My goal is to document this process so closely that it is able to be easily duplicated, so that resource is there for other people of color who want to do it. So last year we put on 2 events. We put on the Equestrian Mental Health and Mindset Clinic. I think that's what it was called. And then we put on OG Fest. And so both of the events were, I thought, pretty amazing.
They were.
It was, some things got a little weird, but it's fine. But we want to do something like this again, and we're still in a panoramic, and we we aren't going to pretend that we're out of it. Other people can. So, but we're not going to do that. So we're thinking about putting on a virtual event, whether it be called a conference or a summit or whatever. And we want to talk about horses. The short of it. I would like to open it up for people to pitch ideas for sessions that they want to lead. So whether it be, a session on groundwork or a session on, the fundamentals of dressage or a session on this, that, whatever, there will be, an application process, not strenuous, just like what the heck you want to talk about. And we can select people to do this conference thing, and people can attend and learn from it.
Yes, and that's something normal because there's people everywhere who just do that. you know?
Yeah.
And we have a platform to offer that. And I'm so excited. Just
Mhm.
that is so amazing.
Yeah. And we can do the panels. We can talk about different things. We can talk about, equine assisted therapy. We can have a panel for that. We can have a panel for, nonprofits and, some of the challenges and triumphs that they're facing. Like, we can have things that are truly going to benefit literally anyone, and it's open to anyone. It's open to anyone. So that being said, we are I do want to create a situation where we can give back, whether it be through a scholarship or some sort of grant for like a nonprofit, or scholarship for a student, or maybe both. So as we get this together, we're going to be open for sponsorships for this event, to help us put this event on. Your logos and your stuff will be on there. We'll get all that information out later, but we're going to be looking for sponsorships from companies who want to support an event like this that highlights people of color, but it's secondary. It's not the focus. It's, what do you do with horses? That's what I want to know.
Right.
How do you add to this industry?
Right.
That is the goal.
Yeah.
So
we are in a new season. So we are going to embrace this and hear from people that we want to hear from. And I know other people want to hear from.
Yeah. For sure. So if you get to the end of this episode and this sounds like something you would either be interested in presenting at or volunteering to help put together, definitely shoot us a message on either Instagram or Facebook. Tag us in our group, YBE group, if you are in the group. I feel like I want to keep this radio silent because I want to know who be listening to our episode till the end. So we're going to let this marinate for a little bit and see what kind of feedback we get. And then we will start marketing it and putting it out there and saying and accepting responses and things like that. So this is exciting. I don't know. I just think it's going to be good for the community, and hopefully can be something that we do annually.
Yes.
Yeah.
All for annual events.
Yeah.
But I'm all for this because I'm excited. I know it's going to be successful and amazing.
Yeah.
Last thing before we go. There is a movie coming out.
Yes, yes, yes,
No,
yes. Next week.
Yeah, next week.
Next week.
April 2nd.
That's next Friday on Netflix.
We
Concrete Cowboy.
I wish you could have a Netflix. Can you have a Netflix watch party? Maybe we can have an after party in the YBE group or something. What did I think about?
Yeah.
Yes, Concrete Cowboy is coming to Netflix.
Yeah. Maybe we can. Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, can we all watch it at 6:00?
Yes, everybody watch it at this time, and then we'll meet in the group.
Yeah.
Or go to our Instagram page.
Yeah. I need to do that. I need to I'll make an event in the group and be like, so this is what we doing. Y'all can hop on so we can talk about it afterwards. That would be super cool.
I'm excited just because Aaron has hyped this movie up for the past year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have literally known her.
Yeah. And we didn't, I mean, we knew about this movie before it was on Netflix, before it even got that deal, So it's just so nice to see how that all, transpired and how the movie is supporting Philadelphia Urban Riding Academy. So they have a GoFundMe going right now because they're working to build a new facility. So
donate to that.
Yeah, donate to the GoFundMe or send Pura a message and just send them a check because we know that GoFundMe takes some of the portions of the donation. So they got a PO box. You can send a check. They also have apparel and stuff like that. So you can go to the THEP as in Paul URA thepura.org and get more information about that and support their merchandise and stuff too. So yeah, super exciting. We'll have a watch party on Friday. Ooh, maybe. I just had a thought about skipping the episode for that day so we could have a watch party, but maybe not. We'll keep the episode for that day. That's fine. But yeah, Concrete Cowboys is coming out. Our sister, the Concrete Cowgirl, was a big part of that movie, and her nonprofit is the Philadelphia Urban Riding Academy. So support all that.
Y'all better listen to this full episode because there was a lot of amazing things throughout. We talked about 3 different organizations.
Yeah.
I'm just excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll let y'all go. We still haven't found a cool thing to do at the end of solo episodes, so that's fine. We'll do it eventually. But what is something that you plan on doing this weekend?
Novalee turns 1 on Saturday.
Oh, Novalee.
So there's a Nothing But Cakes here. I just randomly saw it and I was like, hold up, I know that logo. I'm gonna go for a cake to mess up partially a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you can get the little ones.
Yeah, I'll get a little one.
Nothing but cakes. Like my birthday cake last year was nothing but cakes. So good.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. Probably just set up something to take some pictures. There is a plant swap. So I'm in this really amazing plant group that's local to 757, and they're doing a plant swap, and it has just become like big overnight. Like it's been on the radio. There have been interviews about it. It's so crazy.
Oh my God.
And at first I really wanted to go, but now I'm like, oh, I feel like everybody in the city is gonna be there. So
maybe just go early.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can go early. If I can't, I'm just gonna contact the person that I want pots from. because she's
Mhm.
gonna be there.
Mhm.
That's what I plan on doing. And on Sunday, there's a playground. Y'all can't see it, but it's right outside this window. My children do not play on it. And it was here before we rented this house. So they're gonna take that down. So I can put me up some raised beds.
Nice.
What about you?
I will be finishing moving. That's it. That's the only plan. It's so funny. My dad was yesterday. He was like, "Why don't you just leave them garden beds there? Why?
Right.
Who paid?
Those
I paid for
stuff
them.
is coming.
I paid for the dirt. I paid for the wood. I built him
Yes.
myself.
It has to come here.
That has to come with me. Like what? So we'll be finishing up the pasture at my parents' house. Got to just run the wires and hook up the hot box.
Mhm.
Getting Encore here, getting my raised beds here, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna tie myself down to very much else.
Please don't.
Beat.
Please don't.
But all right. Well, we will see you guys next week. We have a cool interview on Monday. I'm excited
Yeah.
because she wild. She wild. She wild. So I'm excited to talk to her. But all right, y'all. Have a fantastic week, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Young Black Equestrians. Head over to our Facebook or Instagram pages and let us know what you thought about that episode. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and have the opportunity to be featured in our next episode. See you next week.